Okay, so today I am going to work on task 2 for week 1, and I'm going to start with the directions again. I already opened up my notes from last time for task 1 to help me because I know the directions said I need some quotes. So it says I need to record what I'm thinking about, so I'm going to open up the writing prompt again. I know it said we had to create a memo. This is I can use the web again, which I know I'll be looking at a couple more things more specifically towards each group of teachers. It says I can also use the notes I took during task 1, which I already have open. And I can cite my work, which is really good because I already saved a lot of the links from my research from last time. Okay, so what I'm working on today, it says, now that I've become so learned about teachers' decisions related to educational technology, your principal has asked you to write a memo that will help as the technology plan for the next 3 years is written at your school. In this memo, the principal wants you to present some new creative ideas about how to persuade 3 specific groups of teachers to voluntarily begin to explore how to integrate technology in more meaningful ways. One group is the teachers with more than 20 years experience who are resistant to the changes in adding technology. The other group are the teachers who can use technology but are leaning towards it more for fun versus learning. And then substitute teachers. It says the principal would like your memo to provide any thoughts you have about targeting these 3 groups in this memo, and was clear that my ideas should be new, creative, and backed up by some evidence of their potential to be successful strategies. So I'm going to keep my internet open, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up another Microsoft Word window, if it lets me. And this one I will be saving so I don't lose it later. I'm going to save as EDU 707, week 1, task 2. It says I need to create a memo. I don't really know what teachers' memos look like, so I'm just going to put memo to all teachers. I know the format of it doesn't have to be precise, so that's what I would call it. And I'm just going to do an introduction first because I'm going to be looking at the 3 distinctive groups of teachers. I'm going to break that down a little bit with my research from last time. But right now, I just want to do an introduction on why technology is important. So I'm just going to create an introduction. And I'm going to use my notes over here on why teachers choose to use it. And then I want to make sure I address some points why people don't use technology throughout and say why that's not true. Like, I don't know why. So one of the reasons people don't use it is common excuses for the limited use of technology include lack of computer skills and computer intimidation. So I'm going to put how we can address those in the technology plan throughout. But I'm going to start with some of the positives. So this says Okay, so I really like this quote. So I'm going to highlight it so I know that I've already used it. And I know this is going to help with technology plans, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to talk about, first of all, how technology is an important tool that is now easily accessible for our students and our classrooms. One advantage of using technology in the classroom is its flexibility and adaptability to differentiated learning. And I need to cite that resource. So I'm going to open up so I can get the information from this website. This doesn't tell me an author. And I don't see a year. It doesn't even say when it's copyrighted down here, so I'm going to put that it's by Boundless. And I'm going to put I'm going to do a works cited page at the end. I know we really don't have to, but because of websites like this that don't really give you the author and stuff, I want to make sure that it's properly cited. Because this says we can just indicate sources in parentheses at the end of sentences that need citing, which is fine. That's what I'm going to be doing, but some of my websites don't have authors or all the information, so I'll just make a works cited page at the end. So my introduction will be technology is an important tool that is now easily accessible for our students in our classrooms. One advantage of using technology in the classroom is its flexibility and adaptability to differentiated learning. The focus on education today is meeting the needs of all students, and by differentiating our instruction, we can help meet those needs. I'm going to put in a couple of facts too in this introduction. I know I put that this was a really cool quote. So I'm going to open up this link so I can have the source. I know it's from a survey, so I just want to make sure I open up the website to make sure I cite it right, or quote what survey the information's coming from. So it says an infographic published by Everyday Family. So going to an infographic published by Everyday Family. 54% of 21st century kids start using mobile devices when they are 5 to 8 years old. And that's by this author. I cannot say that name. And again, I will be creating a works cited page at the end of this. So according to infographic published by Everyday Family, for 54% of 21st century kids start using mobile devices when they are 5 to 8 years old. This means that our students are already familiar with playing on and learning with technology. They are comfortable they're comfortable. This means our students are already familiar with playing on and learning with technology. They're comfortable with the various devices available to schools. This is how these devices are able to keep the students' attention and are something they are familiar with, but I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay, so according to an infographic published by Everyday Family, 54% of 21st century kids start using mobile devices when they are 5 to 8 years old. This means our students are already familiar with playing on and learning with this technology. They are comfortable with the various devices available to schools. These devices are able to keep the students' attention and create a learning environment. These devices are able to keep students' attention and create a learning environment that focuses on their personal interests. Okay. So, this is why our district is choosing to create a 3-year plan to help integrate technology into our classrooms and learning environments. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good introduction. Technology is an important tool that is now easily accessible for our students in our classrooms. One advantage of using technology in the classroom is its flexibility and adaptability to differentiated learning. The focus on education today is meeting the needs of all students, and by differentiating our instruction, we can help meet those needs. According to an infographic published by Everyday Family, 54% of 54% of 21st century kids start using mobile devices when they are 5 to 8 years old. This means that our students are already familiar with playing on and learning with this technology. They are comfortable with the various devices available to schools. These devices are able to keep students' attention and create a learning environment that focuses on their personal interests. This is why our district is choosing to create a 3-year plan to help integrate technology into our classrooms and learning environments. Since this is a memo, let's do how does this affect me as our next heading. And I'm going to start with our first group of teachers. which is teachers with more than 20 years of experience. So let's go ahead. Obviously, I don't want to offend them and put that in their thing. So how does this affect me? So our first group of teachers will be let's say veteran teachers, 20 plus years experience. Okay, and for some of these, the veteran teachers especially, I'm going to use the information on why people aren't using technology, because that tends to be more these teachers issues. So let's address some concerns that they might have. Okay. So I'm going to do some of these. So why we aren't using it. And this is from Education Rethink, so I want to make sure again that I quote the right person. So all these are from John Spencer from 2012. I'm going to take some of his because I thought this was a really good website. So I'm going to take his little blurb, because I really liked from my research the other day that he had some of these blurbs, and I'm not going to use all of them. So since I'm actually not going to use all of them, let's do this. Employing new technology can be frightening on so many levels, whether it's a fear of letting go of control or a sense that one doesn't have the right skills. Many teachers are simply scared. Let's do this next one. Low self-efficacy. Again, don't know if I'm saying that right. What we lack is a belief in what teachers lack is a belief in their own ability to create tech-integrated lessons. And I'm just going to do one more. Again, this is a memo. I don't want it to be too long, and I have the other ones to address, the other groups to address. Oops. I'm just changing some formatting around. Okay. Okay, so the last one I'm going to use for this one is personal experience, because a lot of veteran teachers don't have a lot of experience growing up with the technologies the way some of us younger teachers have. if teachers themselves have never used these tools in their free time and schools haven't used these in professional development, the tools will always seem strange. Okay, so then I want to put a section of how we can change your mind. I know that kind of sounds really weird, but it kind of is. This is some of the 3 main reasons why the veteran teachers don't use them. Is fear, they don't believe in themselves, and they don't have the personal experience with it. And how we can change their minds, I'm going to go back to up here, and I know you can't really put this in a memo, but I really just love this video. I know I talked about it a couple times last time. So let's put, we can use the resources available online to help. Oops. And I want to put that this has a amazing motivational video, and then the above website offers online tools and resources to help teachers locate and create ready-to-use web lessons, quizzes, rubrics, and classroom calendars. And that's just for teachers. Again, I'm going to go back and fix some of the citing later. I'm going to go back and change some how this memo looks sometimes, because memos are supposed to be short, but at the same time I want to put all the information I think is important in there, and then I can go back and whittle it down to only the parts that I think we need. Okay, so veteran teachers, how we can change your mind. It's definitely, again, I know I said it a lot, but that video is huge to me. Let's find something else that we talked about. Okay, so I'm going to use, oops. I'm just going to, because this kind of addresses the fear that, I think this video will really help motivate the fear, so each of these bullet points is going to match up with one of these. So the low self-efficacy, what teachers lack is a belief in their own ability. So how we can change your mind, we can provide time to play with the technology before requiring implementation into daily work. Instructions on how to use it can be provided first, and work can be done as a team or individual. I know this is kind of a huge thing, especially in our districts. We have 4 different program areas. We have the traditional classroom. First grade, we have traditional classroom. Kindergarten, we have multi-age, and then we have looping. And we have gender specific. So we have about 4 or 5 different program areas. So sometimes we meet as a program area, like traditional first grade meets together, and then traditional kindergarten, and then multi-age, and then looping or gender specific. Sometimes we meet as grade level. All the kindergarten teachers and all the first grade teachers and the multi-age kind of split themselves up. So I think this would be a huge benefit, especially for those veteran teachers, is providing time to play with the technology during professional development hours. That's key. Before requiring implementation into daily work, instructions on how to use it can be provided first, and work can be done as a team or individual. Some teachers still do have that fear, so they're going to want to make sure that they get that, some teachers want to make sure that they get that playing ground done by themselves, kind of quietly. I know I have a couple of teachers, especially one across the hall from me who's been teaching about 35 years now, and she always comes to me and asks for help, kind of on the sly. She doesn't want people to know I'm helping her, because she is very nervous about using technology, and I help with what I can, and it's nobody's business. I understand some people just don't like knowing that they're getting help, but I've never hidden the fact that if I don't know the answer, people always come up and ask me if I can help them after school, and if I don't know how to help them, I usually Google it and find the answer, and then I make sure to tell them that, hey, I didn't know how to do it, this is what Google told me, if it doesn't work, let me know, and I'll keep going. So I think just having the reassurance of peers helping each other, and that even the people that even the younger teachers that these veteran teachers go to still don't know all the answers, I think is a key thing. For personal experience, iPads and laptops will be checked out. My district's already done this. I know a lot of districts do. iPads and laptops will be checked out to teachers to use in the classroom and at home as needed. Again, that's huge with our personal experience. We were able to take our laptops and iPads home over the summer. We obviously had to check them out and sign waivers saying we wouldn't do anything inappropriate on them, which is obviously a no-brainer because we're teachers and there's school equipment. But excuse me, but I know we were told we could put games on it like Candy Crush, Facebook, different apps on it for personal use, like that type of use, because they wanted us to become familiar with using it and integrating it into our lives before we ended up being able to use them in the classroom. So again, it's kind of a longer memo because I still have 2 more teachers to talk about, but I got my introduction done and how does this affect me. So veteran teachers, why aren't we using it and how we can change your mind. So the next group of teachers is new teachers who are technologically proficient but tend to move toward using the technology for fun with their students. Rather than learning. And I know that's the case with some of our teachers. So veteran teachers, 20 plus years experience, so this would be, we always call them new probationary teachers, which means we've been teaching less than 5 years. So let's do new probationary teachers. That's just what we call like our teachers who have been teaching less than 5 years. And new non-tenured teachers. So that would cover teachers just hired up to 5 years, which I think I'm going to include in the new teachers. Because even though I'm on my 3rd year, technically I am still counted as a new teacher. So for this group especially, since they're kind of already using it, let's do how we are using it wrong, because we are using it. I'm going to quote actually from the directions, and but we are using technology for fun more than for student learning. Websites like abc.com and Starfall are great resources, but do they really teach students? And I know some teachers will get offended with that, especially I'm kind of thinking about my district, because it says we are using technology for fun more than for student learning. Websites like abc.com and Starfall are great resources. Do they really teach students? So in our computer lab, I always put students on for computer lab. They just can go to ABC, or they can play I'm actually going to go to it right now. I know it's kind of my thing, but in case somebody doesn't know. But ABC is, yes, it's learning games. You have keyboarding, sight word recognition, but they're not really learning. Like, games are interactive, and they can always learn with games. And I'm not saying they're not learning, but are we really teaching students? It's kind of a big thing because a lot of our stuff are online. Technology is mostly used as an assessment tool. We do Easy CBM, which is a math test students take. NWEA is how we claim to integrate technology into our classrooms a lot. I'm just looking up for some more reasons how we use it wrong. Okay, so I kind of really like this one. I'm going to highlight so I know I used it. In teaching and learning, technology should be applied as a process rather than a single isolated and discrete activity. And that's kind of the case, especially with newer teachers, that technology should be applied as a process rather than as a single, isolated, and discrete activity. And I'll go back and fix that up in a minute. Okay, so I got this. This was by a lot of people, and I'm going to cite it later. It was by Okoji, Alonzak, and Okoji Boulder. This doesn't really give me a date for this, but at the bottom I know it says 1929 to 2004, so I'll go back and check that one later. I don't know if it's 2004 or not, and I actually want to make that a side thing. According to Journal of Technology article, The Pedagogy of Technology Integration. Okay, so one thing, another way we're using wrong is we use it only during computer lab for fun, typing and games. We do a lot of teaching them how to type, because when our students get to 2nd and 3rd grade, they're expected to type responses to their NWEA questions. I'm going to do the same thing as last time, how we can change your mind. Just because I want it to look uniform, so how we can change your mind. So in response to ways of technology for fun, more than student learning, more professional development will be provided in various ways to incorporate technology into the learning process. And I'm just going to take this video right here for this one again, because it's a great tool, and it shows ways learning is done by integrating technology, not just using it. Especially like when students did that, they did the interactive museum, and they were able to create it virtually, but then they had to do research, and it's kind of all flowed together in a nice way on how it integrated it. Technology is mostly used as an assessment tool. I think we just need to work as a team more, because I know we all have the smartboards in like our classrooms and stuff. Our district, every classroom has a smartboard, and teachers use it. Some of them just use it with the document camera as an overhead. Some teachers, like myself, use it as a glorified overhead, but then we do calendar on it, we do read alouds on it, we do math on it. It's a center. So I think just time to work within groups or grade levels or buildings to share what works is a great tool. So I gotta figure out how to word that. So time to work within grade level buildings to share how we all use technology will be provided using smartboards, document cameras, classroom computers, and our iPads. I think that's key. Sharing helps a lot. And the last one, I'll use a Cubed Lab for game. There's a ton of websites out there that are learning time, so more programs. I know, again, I'm kind of writing specifically for my building in mind, or keeping my building in mind, just because we are kind of implementing this in a way. So more programs will be added to our use ability in the computer lab. I think the one is called Excel Math or something. I can't remember what it's called. I know one of the teachers showed it to me, but like more math programs, programs like Read Naturally would be great tools, because yes, it would still be an isolated event. Computer lab access will be more available for research. And age-appropriate research sites will be bookmarked on the computers. I know one of the main reasons in the computer lab that we just do games is because our students are 5, 6, and 7. When we go and tell them, okay, double click on this picture and then click up here, and then you have to tell them to type something. They're still learning how to identify their letters. It's really hard for them to type. So if I could say, okay, today we're going to look up and learn some information about pumpkins and their life cycles. So I want you to go to the monkey picture, click on that, and then look at that website to help. So that would be a great tool if age-appropriate sites are already bookmarked on the computers. Our librarian and library aid are great at creating picture icons instead of them all having the Chrome logo with the words just telling you what it is. ABC, they made a monkey. Our math games they made with a calculator picture, and that's a lot more user-friendly for our students. Okay, so there's 2 of them, and it's kind of getting to be a long memo. I know that there was really no right or wrong way to do this, but I'm going to do substitute teachers, and then a conclusion and my resources. I'm still going to keep videotaping some of it. I can't remember what time I started, so I just keep checking the clock. So I apologize that it keeps coming up. So my last group is substitute teachers. So let's go ahead and include them. And I'm going to go back to kind of like I did with the veteran teachers. I'm always going to put how we can change your mind. But I'm going to put how does this affect me? I know that's our heading up here. But, oh no, I'm going to do why aren't we using it? Because substitute teachers really don't use they're not really using it. Let's put one of the main reasons I know is substitutes don't have a login to our computers, and our teacher computers that connect to the technology, like the smart boards, which is one of the main technologies that substitute teachers would use. My laptop comes home with me, so if I'm sick, they don't have the computer to hook up to the smart board most of the time, and it is my personal login, and I don't want substitute teachers having my personal login. It has access to student files that they're not supposed to see, school email, and just access to certain things that substitute teachers should not be seeing. So one of the main reasons that substitute teachers in our district aren't using technology is lack of teacher or lack of connection access. There is not always a laptop to connect to the docking station for the smart board. Another one is lack of logins to the computers. Another one is no training is provided. So it makes me really nervous letting the substitute teachers use my laptop and use the smart board, because if they don't know how to use the smart boards, if they use the wrong pen on it, it can really mess up the board. Some teachers think they still use whiteboard markers on it. Some teachers end up using regular markers on it, and that does not always come off our smart boards and our whiteboards, and with them being so much money, it's just really nerve-wracking when I know I have a guest teacher if I don't know they've already used the technology before. And I know that doesn't always go, I know this doesn't go back to some of the research I've had, but that's one of the familiar scenes coming throughout. I didn't find a lot on substitute teachers, so I'm kind of going off my personal experience here. So let's do how we can change your mind. I know we're not really changing their minds. It's not necessarily they don't want to use it. It's that they don't have access to it. So maybe we could have we're only allowed to have 2 subs at our building. I know it is different with other buildings. How many personal days or sick days are allowed at each building, but we could have a cart of laptops available at each building for substitutes. To check out a computer from for the day. If they're the same laptops, I can pick up my laptop and put in anybody's docking station in the district, and it'll connect to it. So as long as we have a cart of laptops available at each building for the substitutes, they can just check out a computer from them for the day and have access to them. We could create generic substitute logins similar to student logins. I know our student login is all the same. No matter what computer you go on, there's just one login we can use, and it will log you in as a student to any computer. So it makes sense to have that as a substitute login. Most of us do have on flash drives our daily routines. I know I have a flash drive that's just doesn't have all of my smartboard stuff on it, but it has everything I'm using for the week on it, and it always stays at school in case there is a guest teacher. And if they, well, I really don't want them using my laptop and knowing all of my login information. The way our district did it was my password to get onto my computer is the same for my email, is the same for everything I do in the district. And that's not secure to have a substitute necessarily just know how to get onto your computer, but then they have access to your email, and again, report cards, attendance, they have access to all the information that they really shouldn't have access to. So if we had a generic substitute login, where even if it was my computer that was still there, they could just log in as this generic substitute login, maybe guest teacher, password guest teacher 1 or something. And like I said, my flash drive is always there. Teachers could just have a flash drive, or the district could give teachers a flash drive. You could save all the information on it and keep that plugged into the computer so anybody who logs into it has access to it, since it's saved on the flash drive and not on the desktop with a specific login. And I know we use ASAP, and you do have to take a class through ASAP in order to become a substitute teacher. So maybe we could, I know we require free technology training before being able to be a substitute teacher in our district. I know a lot of buildings you have to do this. I had to go through technology training when I was a guest teacher, on top of the ASAP and the PESG training I had to do before I was allowed to touch the smartboards. Some schools just don't let you touch them, and I know as a substitute it was really hard because the kids are so used to using the smartboard every day, and it's integrated into almost every subject. So then when you go and teach without it, they kind of lose interest. As well. Okay, so I'm just going to go through before I do my conclusion and see what I have already. I know the memo is supposed to be a 3-year technology plan. I don't know how memos look. This is how my memo is going to look. Obviously, if it was a real memo, I'd have the principal and a coworker to look over it. So, introduction. Technology is an important tool that is now easily accessible for our students in our classrooms. One advantage of using technology in the classroom is its flexibility and adaptability to differentiated learning. The focus on education today is meeting the needs of all students, and by differentiating our instruction, we can help meet those needs. According to an infographic published by Everyday Family, 54% of 21st century kids start using mobile devices when they are 5 to 8 years old. This means that our students are already familiar with playing on and learning with this technology. They are comfortable with the various devices available to schools. These devices are able to keep the students' attention and create a learning environment that focuses on their personal interests. This is why our district is choosing to create a 3-year plan to help integrate technology into our classrooms and learning environments. So how does this affect me? Veteran teachers are 20 plus years of experience. Again, I chose to kind of have the same format throughout. Why isn't it being done, and then things we can do to help change their mind to start using it. Especially with veteran teachers, fear implementing that new technology can be frightening, whether it's fear of letting go of control or a sense that one doesn't have the right skills. Many teachers are simply scared, and I know that's true not just for veteran teachers. What teachers lack is a belief in their own ability to create tech-integrated lessons, and they don't necessarily have the personal experience. If teachers themselves have never used these tools in their free time, and schools haven't used these in professional development, the tools do seem strange. And how we can change their mind. We can use the resources available online to help. I put this website in because it has that amazing motivational video with 4 teachers, how I gave student, parent, and teacher input and opinion on how they're using it and why it works so well. We can provide time to play with the technology during professional development hours before requiring the implementation into daily work. Instructions on how to use it can be provided first, and work can be done as a team or an individual. And iPads and laptops will be checked out to teachers to use in the classroom and at home as needed. The next group the memo is focusing on is new non-tenured teachers. And these are the teachers who are using it, but not necessarily in the right way. So how we are using it wrong. We are using technology for fun more than student learning. Websites like abca.com and Starfall are great resources, but do they really teach our students? Technology is mostly used as an assessment tool like EasyCBM for math and WEA. And we use it only during computer lab for fun like typing and games. And according to the Journal of Technology article, The Pedagogy of Technology Integration, technology should be applied as the process rather than as a single, isolated, and discrete activity. How we can change that mind is more professional development will be provided on various ways to incorporate technology into the learning process. Again, same video as before. I think it's a great video, and I think everybody should watch it. I'm just going to keep pushing that video. Time to work within grade levels and buildings to share how we all use technology will be provided. We have smart boards, document cameras, classroom computers, iPads, and the computer lab. And our building, I don't think I've ever been given more than 1 day a year with time scheduled in to work with my coworkers on things like this. We're hardly ever given time to work and talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it and share ideas with each other. So giving us more time to that would be a great way to help. And adding more programs in the computer lab, like math programs or Read Naturally, computer lab access, having more times available. Instead of having title groups in there, they could do it other places. Having age-appropriate research sites bookmarked would be a great tool to help the kids. And then for substitute teachers, some of the reasons they aren't using it is lack of connection access. There's not always a laptop to connect to the docking station because teachers bring them home with them a lot. There's no login for them and no training is provided. So if we have a cart of laptops available at each building for substitutes to check out a computer from for the day, they could always access the smart boards and document cameras. A generic substitute login similar to the student logins would allow them to get on the computer and not have to track down the teacher who may be sick or out of town for whatever reason, obviously since they're not at school. It'd be really hard to get the login, and using the teacher login gives them access to information they should not have access to. And we should require the free technology training before being able to be a substitute teacher in our district. Most substitutes have to go through training anyway before they are allowed to be entered into the system for ASAP and PESG, and the district should be providing training on top of that before they're allowed to come into our schools as teachers, so they can be able to know what they're doing and not mess it up for the teacher or the technology workers. I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, the screencast, and kind of tweak this a little bit. I have resources and a conclusion to add before this file is completely done, and I will be uploading my final product soon.